UConn with a 31-23 win over UAB. What a comeback for the Huskies. And for those of us who were calling for Joey Fayano for a long time, didn't want to see Nick Evers go down with an injury. But, man, were we proven correct today. You're locked on.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for jumping on the live reaction show to UConn's 31-23 comeback victory in Birmingham over UAB, the Blazers. It was not a good start for these Huskies, but they fought back. The heart of this team cannot be understated. The one thing I will agree with multiple people that have talked about this team from the start is a game like this we lose, and last year or years before. So got to give kudos to Jim Mora and his staff. Not a fan of some of the things that he does from a just tactical perspective, but he's instilled a can't quit attitude on this team that you just can't overlook. But the story of this game for me is Joey Fayano. If you want to jump in the show, there's a link in the chat. There's also a link on social media. I will drop the link again later. But I want to get right to, we got a couple people waiting. And the first one that's been on was Mark. He's been in the chat since about 5:30 watching the game and kind of checking to see if we're going to win this game. So let's get to him right away and let's talk to some folks about this because I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to do this for about 20, 25 minutes and then go enjoy a little bit of time with family before we do round two with UConn men at 8 o'clock tonight, and then a live reaction show after that. So let's jump right to the callers, if you will. I guess it's a live radio show. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man? What'd you think of the game?
Hey, Mark. How are you, buddy? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine.
Crappy first half.
Yep.
But I guess you could see the grit in these guys. And you know what? A win is a win. I said it before. I'll take it. Fernando looked great. Whatever happened to Evers. I walked out of the room after he got hurt. Was it a leg injury or?
It looked like a hip. They didn't. Honestly, man, for the most part, I was watching my children during the game, so the TV's down pretty low, so I don't usually get the play-by-play, but it looked like he was limping off with a hip, and he was pointing at that left hip. So we'll get more, information once Jim kind of does his press conference and everything that goes with it. But it definitely was something that he couldn't continue with, and that's the part that sucks. Like I want people to understand. Like I've been critical of Nick Evers for the last 4 games, and I definitely didn't want him to play anymore after that first half. I really wanted them to turn to Joey. But I didn't want it to be because he got hurt and it forced their hand. But I hope what that does is that shows that this team has capable wide receivers when they're hit in their hands. I mean, there was even a ball that Skylar Bell got hit right in the numbers and he didn't catch it. It was almost too perfect. Like he's not used to it. And I made a joke, but that's the reality of it. And then he made an incredible catch like that was thrown behind him. So there's give and take, But look, and Mark, thanks for jumping on. I think Joey really showed that when he is on, he really kind of puts the ball on his receiver. Ball position is so important for a quarterback. Like you can't throw it behind a guy when you're trying to do these RPOs and these opportunities. Let's get Mark back in here because I want to talk to him for one more time, and then we'll get to some other folks that are waiting. What's up, buddy?
No, I'm good. I agree. There was a lot of drop passes too, which was disappointing.
Sure.
From both quarterbacks, look throwing them in right where you need to be. So that's got to be cleaned up. But besides that, 7-3. Like I said, I'll say it. They're gritty, and I'll take that. That's what we want. That's the men's basketball, right? They're gritty. It doesn't need to be the best, but a win is a win. And so I'm happy they played well, and they're going to learn a lot. And Syracuse next, I believe.
Think so. Let's
and then
let's
UMass
check
to close it out. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I think we should have beat Duke. I think we should have beat Wake Forest.
100% should have beat Duke.
Let's beat at least one ACC team, and maybe they'll sue us again, if we beat them. They'll kick it old school. But no, it would be good. And then, definitely making a bowl. Just 2 more wins gets us a better bowl, but I'm excited. So I appreciate the time, and love the show. Keep up the great work, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, that was Mark. Appreciate him. Let's go to Dennis Keith. What's up, buddy?
You can hear me okay?
I hear you just fine, man. What you got for me?
Oh, not much. Headed to the basketball game now. That's why I got the camera off. But I'm the one that texted you earlier that I'm going to the game tonight, and I'm the old guy in the student section.
I love it, man. Working hard, getting that degree. I love it. Look, man, for me, again, like we could have a rough first half, but the bottom line for me is, this team responded offensively when Joey Fiano came into the game, and I really hope this team. A lot of times, coaches get really they get what's the word I'm looking for? They get attached to their quarterback like it's their son, and I don't mean that facetiously. Like they have loyalty, and they have loyalty to Nick. I get it, but the loyalty should be to the entire team. And this team looked better with when Nick is compromised from a running perspective. He should not be the quarterback of this team. And I hate that he got hurt, but Joey's the guy going forward.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think this team is you could tell he runs the offense better. He's got more command of it. And I think it's a fair question to say, look, I understand we're in the NIL era, and they probably paid Nick Evers a lot of money to be here, but you got to go with what works. And you can just tell the operation is so much smoother with Fiano in there. And I think that's just the truth of the matter, NIL or not,
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's you just NIL or not, like it looks smoother. It looks the passes are crisper. They're on time. If a guy drops it, he drops it. I defended Nick in the past where he wasn't getting a lot of help from his receivers, but over the last 4 or 5 games, every ball that Nick throws in these kind of timing routes where it's like a read or RPO where he's got to hit a guy in stride, they're behind him, so it screws everything up. Because if you hit Skylar Bell in motion, he's gonna take it to the house on those like 8 guys in the box, because that's what they've been doing. They've been stacking the box because they're like, you can't pass on us. So we've literally been one-dimensional. Now, if you throw Joey in the mix, now they have to respect it. And there's running lanes, and you saw Cam take it to the house on a running lane to kind of close out the game.
Yeah, this is a timing-based offense, in my opinion, and like that 20-yard seam route for the touchdown in the fourth quarter, or third or fourth quarter, I forgot which it was, but Evers doesn't make that pass. Well, that's just the truth of the matter. That had been behind him. That was between 2 defenders. That was an NFL throw. I'm going to call it what it is. That's an NFL open touchdown compared to college, where that's a tight window. And Evers would not have made that. That's just the reality of the situation. But even the throw, Dennis, where they called that it wasn't a touchdown, that was low, and it looked like Skylar got his hands underneath it, but they called it on the field. But that was a throw. That's a throw. That is a veteran quarterback that's like, I'm going to make a pass that only my receiver can catch and no one can pick off. And that's what he did there, because he knew that was 3rd down, not 4th down. And so then the next play, he threw an absolute dart that literally, I thought it was going to go through the receiver. Like it was like, we're going to get this touchdown no matter what. So the dude's got a cannon, and if he's on, they got to roll with him. That's the bottom line. I don't mean to drink the Kool-Aid, but I think Fiano could be a decent NFL backup in the later rounds of the draft. If somebody falls in love with his tape, 6th, 7th round, give the guy a shot in camp. Maybe he could be a decent backup.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I mean, listen, there's plenty of really shitty quarterback play in the NFL, so it can't be much worse than what we just watched on the field today. So I have no qualms to that. Like I'm a Giants fan. I watched Tommy DeVito win games in the NFL last year. So I think Joey Fiano would be fine if he got protection. That's the bottom line. He doesn't run, so you gotta protect him. So
I definitely understand. I'm a Titans fan since 1997, or Oilers, I guess it was. So
Yep.
Will Levis is causing us to lose our hair by the day.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, have fun at the game. I'll be doing this again later tonight. And we're just gonna keep rolling with this for a few more minutes and get some more folks in. But have yourself a good evening and all the best, dude.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'll try to call back later after the basketball game if I can.
Please do. All right, man. Take care. All right, UConn Steve, you're up. Let's go. What you got, man? Sorry to wait, make you wait that long. You still with us, UConn Steve? Yes, no? Might have bad connection. I don't know. Well, let's see. Going once. Going twice. Oh, sold. UConn Steve, man. I'm sorry. Message me if you want to jump back on, if you feel like you have a better connection. Look, again, not to kick a guy while he's down, because I think Nick Evers is a good kid. He's not being intentionally bad on the field on purpose. He's trying his hardest. But the bottom line is, this is big boy football now. If you guys ever want to see us ascend to, and listen, for all of you guys that are football first and basketball second, I know there's a few weirdos like that out there, and I don't mean that facetiously. I mean that like you guys are weird to think that, but it happens. But the bottom line is, if you ever want to get to a big-time conference like the Big 12 or the Big 10 or whatever, you need to win as many games as possible. And this whole like developmental quarterback with Nick Evers, we're not Tennessee guys. We're not Oklahoma. Oklahoma brought in Nick Evers because they wanted to see if he would develop over time. You know what I mean? So UConn is not we need studs to come in and elevate this program, because it's never been where, say, Oklahoma was. So I need that from this team to understand that. And the way the Big East is playing basketball, you're going to see some Big East fans that are like, maybe the Big 12 isn't such a bad idea. We're going to try to get UConn Steve in here one more time and see if he wants to jump on. Let's see. No, not working. Sorry, man. Look at you guys. Football first. Good Lord. In what world is football first in your mind? I love football. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like I will literally bleed any type of football, but good Lord, I don't know. It's a great question, man. I haven't seen enough of the other guys to make a educated choice. It's going to be hard for me to want to see Nick Evers at quarterback next year. If you roll with Joey for the last 2 games this year, let's say Nick is hurt or they just go with him. I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe someone that's not on the roster. Maybe another transfer. And you're 100% right. And that's why I want us in a bigger conference. But just because it drives the bus doesn't mean it's the better product. I don't think anyone at Kansas or Duke or Iowa State or Houston would consider their football programs to be driving the bus because it's a better product. They're doing it because more people watch it on a larger scale. But the product on the field for Houston, for Kansas, for Iowa State, even for Duke to a certain extent, or North Carolina to another extent in the ACC, is trash. And I want UConn football to elevate above being a trash product and be equals to their basketball program. That's what I want. It's a pipe dream probably, but a lot of people didn't think UConn was going to win 6 national championships either. So there's that as well. Does anyone else want to jump on? I'm going to get you guys kick it out of the studio. Not doing this because you did anything wrong, but in case someone wants to come in, I think I have like a limit on who can jump in. If anyone else wants to jump on, like I said, you don't have to jump on camera. You don't need it. It's just like a radio show. You can go no camera. I can show off my new haircut, sponsored by Going Bald. And we're going to do like 5 more minutes if people want to jump on. But I really just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that I was we get Pete Callen from the TNT podcast and, of course, the Football Friday show. Let's talk to Pete before we jump out of here. What's up, my guy? How we doing?
Hey, I'm a lot better than I was in the first half.
I'm with you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Were you like me? Because, and I think, I don't know if I was in the minority. I think I was probably like 30. It was probably 30-70 of people that I saw in the football chat, on Twitter or texting and whatever, where I was done with Nick Evers. I've been done with him for a few games now, and it's unfortunate that he got hurt. Listen, I know the defense didn't play well in the first half, but they dominated the second half. So Joey gave them a spark. Do they stick with him?
They might have to.
Okay, there you go.
I'm not done with Nick. I thought he made some good decisions and has. Okay.
You're good, man. Keep going.
They might have to. Depends on the degree of injury to Nick. However, I thought Nick started out hot, made some good decisions. He had a lot of drop passes on him, to be fair.
It's true. I said that too, though.
But it was illustrated by Joe, honestly, what I felt Nick had to do with his game, which is stay in the pocket and deliver throws to give his receivers a chance to make plays. And you saw the difference between an experienced quarterback and one who's still trying to find his legs, so to speak, literally and figuratively in the offense. There's some things that I observed in the game, and I felt that were more communication and more relationship kind of issues between him and the receivers. They got to work together more. But it seems like with Joe, with his experience and with his past failures, he seemed to learn to trust those receivers, put the ball in places where they can get it and make plays. And that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think one of the things I made a note on while I was watching the game was even passes where Nick had a good drive. He had 2 good drives today, in my opinion, where he threw some darts, he threw the ball with confidence. But even in places in those drives, ball placement is so key. And in this offense, which seems like more of a timing offense, especially in the passing game, it just felt like the crossing, the slants, the ball's always behind. It's not out in front where the guy can get yards after catch. So that was my biggest complaint. And I think that, to your point, that's a communication issue with the receivers, and maybe they're not meshing well. But when Joey put in there, like even the first play, remember when TJ Sheffield got that horse collar, if that dude doesn't do that, that may be 6 because he put it on him here, and it was in stride. So
yes.
that play in general, and then the back shoulder throw to Gay things, like how about, I mean, just the confidence to throw up a ball to Skylar. Like these are just things I've been clamoring for all year. And then we finally get it in a comeback, and it looks so much better.
Yeah. Joe's beat man-to-man coverage on that play. He put it where it's supposed to be placed. Nick was encountering a lot of zone defenses and a lot of downhill, appropriately angled safeties coming down. And I think Allen Lee did a fair job putting it on back shoulders to protect his receivers. It just doesn't make the plays. And those are the things that I'm talking about in terms of throttling down in zones, knowing where to place the ball. Those are the types of communications and nuances they have to work on and get better. The situation was with Joe, he just, threw it downfield. They made plays over the middle when you had to, and they attacked. And that was, again, the difference on the game. I think they caught UAB out on their heels a little bit in doing so. And we made plays they didn't in the end.
Absolutely. Last thing I'll say, because I'm going to jump out of here because I got to take a break before I do this again at 10:30 after the men play their basketball game at 8. But I thought what you see from the difference between having a guy like Joey and a guy like Nick is if the passing game becomes that much of a weapon, they have to respect it. And then what happens at the end of the game, you get a pop run to basically seal the deal. Not that doesn't happen with Nick in the game, but we've talked about this time and time again. If Nick Evers isn't an effective runner, there's no reason for him to be the starting quarterback for UConn because Joey is the better pocket passer. And if you can protect him, you can get more plays out of it.
I totally agree. Even during the last drive, you saw UAB's defense kind of stack the box, not even respect Joe on the read option. Which is an issue that we probably have to address if Joe's going to be the starting quarterback moving forward. because Nick does add that extra element of keeping an extra defender off the run plays, off the stretch zones and things of that nature. But we got a smart enough coach in Gordon Samus coordinating the offense to do it. Looked really good when Joe got in there. And I think everybody, had a confidence of what he was going to do because he was kind of had the answers to what needed to be done in order to win the game, and he executed.
Before we jump off, let me ask you one more question. Well, really, it's kind of a two-part question. Do you think, one, there's a scenario where Jim Morris says we're going to start Joey, but we have packages for Nick the way Georgia Tech did their upset over Miami today. They had two quarterbacks playing and basically just kind of decided on the scenario and essentially do that for the rest of the year and still give Nick those packages where he can come in on goal line on different scenarios where, 2nd and 1, where you could do multiple different things with him. I see that as the best of both worlds because, look, you don't want a guy to lose his starting job over an injury. If they feel like he's better, they have they have a better chance of winning with him. I don't know, man. Like, I think that's the best of both worlds, and you can keep both guys happy. What do you think?
If it doesn't put him in jeopardy to get injured again or aggravate what got hurt today, and B, doesn't disrupt the rhythm of the offense and hurt the other players and the team as a consequence, possibly. Those are some huge kind of, standards to set, and they're not easy to execute, when you have two guys running the ship. I mean, we saw the very first play when Joe delivered the ball, it was dropped. So, they do things differently. They just do things differently, and they're different quarterbacks. So you got to be careful about, if you do that, when and where you do that.
That's fair to say. Before we go, I wanted to share something with you. I convinced my wife I got to let go of the hair. So I don't think I'm going to go quite as low as you, but this is the new me, man. I gotta accept the balding and roll with it.
Embrace it, man. Embrace the cue.
Embrace the cue, but we'll just take care of this bad boy. That's it, and then that's how I look pretty. All right, my man. Go. Listen, have a good rest of your night. Have a great weekend. I appreciate you, man. We'll see you next Friday when we talk about Syracuse. All right.
You as well. Hope you're happy, Husky Nation.
There you go, baby. Pete just dominating the stream. Look at me, I'm all over the place. All right, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna jump. I promised my wife I would get down there and hang out and chill with her before the game. And that's exactly what I'm gonna go do because I love my wife more than I love you guys. Peace out. Huskies with the win.